For many people, Blockbuster is synonymous with home video rental. Depending on your age, it could mean childhood, weekends, sleepovers, pizza, but something that often gets glossed over is that in the 90s, Blockbuster also sold music. The company had a chain of retail stores known as Blockbuster Music that seems largely forgotten or just totally unknown. So today on the videocast, we are going to be looking at what remains of Blockbuster Music, commercials, conceptual and promotional material from the company, as well as some related events. As always, I am your host, Brian, and before we get into it, I've got to plug the Patreon. None of this happens without the generous support of our patrons. In exchange, they get access to a ton of exclusive content, like my book, The Nostalgia Economy, and dozens of videos. So if you like what we do and want to see more, please consider supporting us. Patreon.com/PicsandPortraits. With that plug out of the way, let's head back to the 90s. By the early 1990s, Blockbuster was a massive company. They had spent the previous years aggressively expanding, opening hundreds of new stores, and acquiring their rivals, rebranding them as Blockbusters. They began sponsoring sports events like the Blockbuster Bowl, a college football game that was played under their name for 3 years, starting in 1990. This game apparently still happens under a Pop-Tart sponsorship now. Blockbuster was the largest video rental chain with well over 1,000 stores, and in 1992 they were looking to expand even more into other avenues or home media ventures like music. Music had been commercially available since the 19th century, and record stores or record shops continued to gain popularity into the 20th as new formats like vinyl records were introduced, then cassettes, CDs. One of the larger record store chains, at least in America, was Sound Warehouse, founded in 1972. 10 years later, Music Plus, another record store, began operating. These two chains were very popular throughout the US. Both would be acquired by Blockbuster in 1992, and this basically formed the foundation of Blockbuster Music. In 1993, after some more acquisitions, Blockbuster controlled the retail chains Trax, Turtles, Record Bar, and Rhythm and Views, which then all fell under the Blockbuster Music banner. Blockbuster itself would be sold to Viacom in 1994, but the stores continued operating as usual. Now, not a whole lot is available around Blockbuster Music. Most of what I found is commercials, which I'll go through in a bit, but I did find some conceptual material from around 1994-95. It shows different sections and listening stations, country, classical, top 20, very much in line with most mall or corporate music retailers of the time, like HMV. I also found similar conceptual layouts for Blockbuster Games, a dedicated video game store, which there's even less info on than Blockbuster Music, but this looked awesome, very of the time. Blockbuster Music sold music, obviously, CDs and cassettes, as well as music-related videos, like concert films and documentaries. I was not familiar with the store, so I had to do some forum diving for some personal anecdotes. Blockbuster Music apparently marked up the price of albums quite a bit. I guess it was hard to sell people on renting music, so in the same vein as their main business, Blockbuster Music allowed customers to try before they bought. Listening stations were common in record stores. Labels would have certain releases available for customers to listen to, but Blockbuster Music boasted they would let you listen to any album in its entirety for free before you bought it. We are spoiled nowadays, but there was a time where you would pay $20 or more for an album and only like one song on it. From what I've read, clerks would apparently cut the bottom of the packaging away, so if the customer didn't like it or didn't buy it, they could still sell it as new, which is pretty wild. Not the most ethical business practice. Nevertheless, this was promoted in commercials. Most of the commercials I found are from the mid-90s, 95, 96, 97. As an example of how expensive music used to be, we see an ad for Michael Jackson's History, $26.99 for the CD. That's about $56 today. Another commercial promoting Sublime's self-titled album. Before she was on SNL, Rachel Dratch starred in this commercial for Blockbuster Music in 1996. It's full of innuendo about the size of a guy's CD collection. I found two other commercial formats that would be reused for different releases. One follows an elevator operator throughout a week, listening to the same music until he eventually snaps. Another would have ran during the holiday season, just a guy screaming, afraid he would give the wrong present. It's for gift cards. These commercials would end by plugging a new popular release. We see one for the soundtrack for Batman and Robin, as well as the Wallflowers, No Doubt, and Collective Soul. All of these bands would appear at Blockbuster Rock Fest 97, along with Bush, Third Eye Blind, Counting Crows, Jewel, tons of acts. This festival was huge. It took place in June 1997 at the Texas Motor Speedway in Dallas-Fort Worth. Footage is available from both MTV's and VH1's feed of the event. I'll post everything in the description, but Rockfest was massive. The presenters claim some 250,000 people were there. I've read reports there was upwards of 350,000 people. Also, insane heat, running out of food and water, very much like Woodstock 99 a couple years later. In 1998, Blockbuster sold its music division to Warehouse Entertainment, which also operated its own retail stores until it declared bankruptcy in 2002. In 2003, its assets were sold to Transworld Entertainment, now known as Caspian Holdings, who own FYE and would eventually swallow up Suncoast, Sam Goody, and a bunch of other media retailers, and that was it for Blockbuster Music. Again, this was a very difficult thing to track down information and content on. I have no memory of Blockbuster Music, so if you do, feel free to share it down below. We've talked about Blockbuster and the collapse of the home video rental market before. Check that video out if you haven't. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give us a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and if you have the means, please consider supporting us on Patreon. It helps keep us going, and you get access to a ton of exclusive content, Immoral Media, Liminal Dreams, my book. $5 a month gets you this and more. Patreon.com/PixandPortraits. As always, thank you so much for your interest in this channel, and thanks for watching. I'll see you in the past.